last night there was an update with 4 additional Unison patches added, as well as the background image, so that you now, instead of being just like a default background image, like one of these types of images that it normally would power up with, we now have a unique library default image, which is just any call up any patch and it'll revert back to that. So got to go. No, you're not late. I just got started, so you're good. You're good. All right, so the goal of this, well, first of all, let me just finish this. There's now 12 different Unison patches, so there's a lot to play with here as far as different Unison. There's 2 new saw. And this is really nice too. And then sine wave Unison, which is going to be really handy for that time of really cool detuned chorus padding stuff. And then really nice Unison square pad. So those 4 multi-sounds, each one's 25 samples. So there's 100 new samples with these 4 different sounds, as well as the custom image. And that's the same also for the bonus library. If you come over here, there's now 2 patches. I included a sample set of sounds so that we have a sample layout for those of you that want to make samples for this bonus library. If you right click on this and say reveal in Finder and go up a layer, you'll see that there's a media folder, which is where the text file and there's one of just the library like this, and there's one where I have the bonus as well. So this is the image that I have on default. If you double click this gets you to a text editor, and if you change the name of the image file and you put an image file of your choice in the images folder, it will now load with that as the default. And then after that, if you, let's say I wanted to have a patch use this background image, this one, right? So if I wanted, I could go to the patches, and you want to do it from the from here. So let's go to the point. Let's say for to the point, I want it to be a different image. So I'm going to go to the save page and copy this name, and then go back to the text file and double click. As if it says default, then it's going to be blanket for everything unless you, in quotations, put the name of the patch. And then after that, I'm going to go over here and just copy the reference to the images. You just need some spaces, and then you place this. And then instead of background bonus, I just want background 1. So get rid of bonus. Let's see here, go like this, and 1. And now if I save this, now when I call up Chordal, it's going to be with the text. And if I go to the point, it will be a version that's now saved with its image reference pointing to that image. So the thing here is, if you put an image file, it can be a JPEG, it can be a PNG, into an images folder, and then have a text file above that that says links.txt. That's the name that needs to be there for Unify to know what you're trying to tell it to do. If you have the name of the patch in quotations, and then images / and then the name of the file with the .jpeg or .png in quotations, then you can add custom images to any patch. This is how you set up custom imaging and stuff like that. So that has been updated. And also notice here's the samples folder. And now there's the layout with the bonus folder, samples. Now here I would suggest inside of the samples folder is where you'd put a folder with your samples. So John's samples. Maybe I'm going to add another sample to this, right? So I'll make one later on. We'll add our own custom sample in this live stream so we can see how we do that. And we'll use this folder as our default to do that, okay? So we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, so now to making patches, we're going to start with a couple tips, some pointers and stuff for just people starting out. Before we get into actually getting into deeper programming, I want to give you a couple ideas that you can work with if you're not into you don't want to open up and you don't want to deal with all of this yet. There are some things in Unify you can do that are basic programming that are really cool. So let's say we use sine, and let's go to the macro knobs, and I want a little bit more release, and I want a slow fade in. So I can change these, and I'm actually changing parameters inside of Guru Sampler. If I was to have this over here and then have this over to the side a little bit, as I move these knobs, you'll see it's changing things inside of, let me make sure you can see that. I can't remember if this goes. Yeah, see, it's changing the attack. And if I have this for the release, you'll see it's changing the release. So I'm changing parameters inside of Guru Sampler from the knobs without actually programming. So to start with, let's get the attack to be slow. As you bring this up, it makes it longer. If it's at 0, it's right at the downbeat. And then what you can do, go to another one of our libraries, and the libraries you can play with that other people, you can use any library, but don't, because a lot of these libraries have custom samples that won't be included if you were to save this patch for everybody else. This is for you making patches for the community. There's a couple folders you specifically can go to. You can work with UniSynth V1, that library, any of these patches. Let's go to like this right here where there's 3 different loading modes that are right here on buttons. One says load the entire patch. So let's say I want to go up here to Iceman and I want to load this. If I have it set to this and I click Iceman, it loads it into a new Unify layer, and that Unify layer has 2 auxiliary effects, all this stuff, right? That's one way to load it. I'm going to go up here and say delete, because I'm going to show you another way. And that's to use this button where it is only going to take layer 1 and put it in here. So it has, like if I go here to, where was I at? Iceman. If I have it set to this button and I click Iceman, then it loads Guru Sampler 2. Yeah. Now, if I want, I can click this to expand all the layers. You can also click a little triangle right here. I'm going to take this down an octave. There. So, now let's turn this layer's volume down a little bit if we want. And then the other 2 libraries you can play with is you can go to any of the patches in the Unify Standard Library or in Super Mega Sampler and add those to these patches to make new sounds. So if I go down here to the pads, and there's all sorts of things like here's Moody Strings. Now I have it to load just layer 1. If I hit Moody Strings, it's going to load a sound. So just by doing things like this, I could make as big of a layer of patches as I want. If I want to put a little pluck at the beginning of it, let's add sepia to the beginning, and maybe I want this to have lots of reverb, so I have my auxiliary effects right here. Auxiliary 1, A1 is reverb, A2 is delay. So if I bring up the knob to A1, and let's open this up and let's make it even longer. And make this longer for the low frequency reverb. And let's turn it down a little bit because it's a little loud. So you can make patches without actually programming per se. Let's say I like this. If I want to save the state of everything, that's where this little icon right here is. So I'm going to hit save, And I'm going to give it a different name because it's my own creation, so I get to name it. And since it's kind of used for pads, although the plug makes it a little confusing and like a hybrid kind of patch, I would still use this mainly for playing slow chords and stuff. But that plug lets me play a little bit faster if I want, but it's still a pad, right? So let's say pad, P-A-D, space, dash, space, and let's call this evening air with an E at the end of it just to be creative. And you'd put in your name, category, we change it from synth to pad, so we'll say pad, and this is a layer with pluck. And lots of reverb. You can put anything you want. There's special things, layers of pad with a pluck for fun. Name whatever. If you spent time doing knob assignments and stuff, you might put in here. The mod wheel does this. Macro knob 1 does this. Stuff like that, right? Now, I'm going to go not to this library. I want to save it into the bonus library. So you go to PlugInGuru UniSynth Volume 1 bonus, and then just go save as and save. So I've established my patch. Now, at this point, I can work on my patch more. And then if I want, I can hit the little save button and hit either update, or I can hold down Option or Alt on your computer and click this folder, and it's the same thing as clicking update. So for example, let's say that I go to the metronome and I play this. And I go, oh, that's not the vibe I want for this. I want something that's kind of cool and slower. So I'm going to slow down the tempo. Let's say like maybe 80. That's a good chill tempo. And then you can either click the little arrow here and then say open metronome Unify by clicking here. And that will open this interface for this. The metronome is actually a side version of Unify that's hanging out and saved in every patch. And its goal is to be whatever patch is there is playing when you turn on the metronome. So you can have it doing rhythms. You could use it for playing background songs. I mean, there's all sorts of creative ways of using this. You can also just right click on this and it will open up this interface. You don't have to always open up to see this interface control here. If you just right click on this, it also will open up this metronome. And then I'm going to go down the list and look for a patch. You can look by names. There's all sorts of different things from different grooves. Here, Smooth Jazz Serenade. Let's see what that sounds like. So that's better. And if I wanted to play with my mix here, I could. That's kind of cool. I like that. Now, I'm starting to hear things now that I've added rhythm that I might want to change in the patch. Like, I think I want this Iceman to be an octave higher. Just so it sticks out a little bit better. Once you get a more complex mix going, you might hear things you want to change. Now, we're going to start editing. So if you look at the plugin and you click here, you're now looking at the interface for Iceman. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see everything here. I want to change it so it's a little bit slower on the fade in, a little bit longer on the release, and I want it to be darker. So I'm going to go over here. Here's my filter and my envelope for my filter. I'm just going to control the brightness. Right? So that's more the vibe that I want. Now, what else would I want to do? Maybe I want a little rhythm to that, just a little bit of motion. So let's go to our audio effects. And the first place to go to is, now the way that it works for audio effects inside of making patches for the bonus library, you can click on the insert effect or on the auxiliary buses, the little plus, and anything inside of the Unify standard folder is welcome for you to use. Don't go to the all audio effects and go using something from Baby Audio or something like that, because that means everybody else has to have Baby Audio's plugin. But everything inside of the Unify standard folder, all of these plugins are included for everybody's version of Unify, so they can play all of these, like distortion. Maybe I want to put just a little bit of overdrive on that pad. Let's hit solo so we can hear it. And let's open up. Oh, did I put distortion on the wrong place? I did. So I'm going to copy it and get rid of it. And if I hold down Shift, I'm going to paste it to Iceman. There we go. And then after this, I want to add one more thing. Go to Dynamics. And Dynamics means something is changing the volume. And right here, you'll see Pump House. Above that's our compressor called Enforcer. And if you click right here, you can change the shape. Let's get to be kind of a sidechain kind of a shape where it's got a down on the very beginning. And this is too much, right? But here's the depth. Just a little bit in there, so it's just got a little bit of hint of motion. And turn out solo. And the Moody strings, that's actually kind of cool. But most everything these days has some motion in it. So I'm going to make this just a little bit more complex by going over here and actually let's do it this way. I'm going to hold down Control and Shift and copy this pump house. And then I'm going to hold down Shift and click on the little plus button and paste a pump house onto the saw pad. So now they're... Get my levels right. I'm kind of I'm leaning towards a BPM variation. So let's save this in the state. I'm going to hold down Option and click Save. So I have saved Evening Air as an update. So if I go let's go to normal loading and to the point. So I'm away from it. I come back to Evening Air. It should call up. And there it is. And the way I want to make it rhythmic is that pluck. I want it to be doing something kind of fun and playing around. So let's open this up so we can go to the MIDI effects. And I'm just going to go to Unify Standard Arpeggiators Blue Arp. Now, these are MIDI effects which add notes and arpeggiators. It will play this layer for you automatically, basically. And here's the interface. There's just a couple steps I want to do. I want to go to the, see where it says random up here? I'm going to go random all the way across. So now when I play a chord, it's just automatically randomizing whatever notes I play. It doesn't matter the order. It gets more complicated inside of Blue Arp when you get to like the key select, because now it's looking at your notes 1 through 5 to decide who gets to play in what order and stuff. I'm skipping all of that. Just go up here to the step type and set it to random. And then maybe I'll turn a couple of these off so that it breathes a little bit. If I want, I could use the octaves. That might be too much, but I'm having a good time, so I'm not going to worry about it. Now, when you go to scale step, this lets you play intervals. And I'm going to suggest, for the most part, I hardly ever use these because then it puts you into playing in only specific chords that sound good. You have to play either major chords all the time or minor chords. But the octaves, you can get away with doing all sorts of things. You could go down octaves, you go up octaves. Just make sure you're changing the ones that are currently on. If you're changing the octave to something that's off, you're not going to hear it. So just be aware of that. But now I have now, this is a different patch than Evening Air just because it became rhythmic. So let's do this. Let's bring down the effects just a little bit. So it's, maybe add a little delay. And maybe I want to make the moody strings darker. So as you see, this is loading up Guru Sampler 1, which is a different interface than Guru Sampler 2. Guru Sampler 1 was what came out with the first version of Unify. It's a simpler interface. You still see here's filter, filter envelope, some controls here. I'm just going to stay here for now. Let's bring down the filter. Let's have it so that it... I'm using the envelope. Here, let's solo those for a second so you can see what I'm doing. Moody strings. So because I brought the filter cutoff over here all the way down, here's what it's like when it's wide open. I want to rest somewhere, and I'm asking the filter envelope to give me a long, what's called an envelope. So it's slowly decaying to a sustained level of 0. So by bringing this up, it's going to start kind of bright. Because the sustain is at 0, it's eventually going to get down to where it's resting where this cutoff value is at. So if I wanted to rest a little brighter or all the way out, if I want, I mean, you can set wherever you want. Now, since we're in rhythmic category territory, I'm going to do something kind of fun. This LFO is our basic LFO, and I'm going to go over here and I'd say I want to change its timing to notes. So now this rate is based on clock values instead of just free running at a set frequency. And LFO is a repeating shape. And you have right here where you can choose what shape. Let's say saw down to start. And I want to cut off, and I'm going to change it to only be unipolarity, which means it's only going to the 0 point and it doesn't go below that. And it gives me a pulse. And because my envelope is at this value, there's a little while where you don't even hear the pulse because the filter is up above where that pulsing is at, and then it kind of like gets there and then it takes over. But I'm going to bring up the amp. This is volume. So no matter what this filter is doing, if I have the amp doing this too, now I hear it all the time. Right? So you have these types of controls to play with. Let's make sure it rests where we want. Let's have it rest down there, that low. So we've gotten a little complex, but we started just by layering patches and not starting from scratch or anything. We added sounds, and this is the journey that you get to take when you start working with Unify, because there are all these places you can go. Once you start shaping it and you go, now this just sitting there is kind of getting in the way for me now, right? Because everything else has this little bit of a dance going on. So we should do something rhythmic for him too. So let's click the little triangle. There's a pump house here already. But instead of this shape, because right now it's just, here, let's solo it so we can hear for a second. It's doing a, if I bring this up more, and that might sound good. Let's see how it sounds with everything else. So let's unsolo. that's okay. I think I kind of want to be more there in the energy all the time. So instead of this type of a shape, let's have some fun. Let's hit solo. So we just hear this. And let's see. I can't resize Pump House. But I can resize this. No, I think that's all the size it gets. But here, instead of this shape, if you click this little bullet on Pump House, you can get to different curve presets. And I'm going to go down here to these called numbered pulse presets. And I'm going to say, give me 8 steps down. So it makes 8 calculated. Now I'm going to go over here to my quarter notes and slow it down to half notes. Right? So I have this rhythmic thing going on, but now I get to play with these. I don't have to have them all be the same. I can change curvatures. And what's fun with Unify is it's unlimited effects. There's no limit. So I could put another pump house after this one, going dynamic pump house. There we go. And let's go load curve presets to sidechain, like maybe sidechain 3. So now I'm using 2 pump houses together to give me a more complex rhythm, because this first one is like a steady rhythm. There's no going down and up. And I could carefully go in here and I could like bring down all these, set them up and all that kind of stuff. If you want to program that way, you're welcome to. It's just easier sometimes. Just add another pump house and have this be your sidechain effect. And then maybe I want something to like pop up some frequencies. So let's go over here to like maybe the ring modulation, or you know what might be really cool on this is if we go to distortion, there's degrade. There we go. This gives us bit resolution and sample rate. And you can control the output if you want to turn up a little bit more here. There we go. Now we have a little bit more frequency content. Hear it there? It's there in the mix, a little bit better that way. Now let's go over here. I need to go to degrade. Let's play their sample rate. There. That's the frequency I wanted to tickle. And if you need to emphasize that frequency, you can always add an EQ after the fact. So the fun thing with Unify is there is no limit to how many effects. You don't have 3 slots and you're out like a lot of synthesizers. It's unlimited. So oop, wrong chord. So let's play with our mix for a second here. I want this to be a little bit, I'm kind of thinking now in like, where do you belong in the frequency spectrum? This sound here, I want a little bit more high end. And I'm going to say less of the low end. So anything like below 1400, I'm going to get rid of. So it's not just that low frequency just sitting there, it's cleaned up a little bit. And this middle one here is our Iceman, which has a nice warm pad to it. And our Moody strings, they're being a pulse. Cool. All right, so I made a cool BPM patch. So let's go save. And let's go BPM, I can't spell, BPM pad, evening air redo. OUX, I think is how you spell it. I'll have to double check. But like it's like a remix of the evening air. So BPM pad, And, you know, you could add your comments and stuff and go save as and save. So we were able to make that from this. So it's kind of like an evolutionary thing you can do sometimes. And there's times where this is a sound that you perfectly need. You got to have, right? So hopefully that gives you a few clips and ideas here. The class is in session, yes. You made 3 so far, cool. Awesome, awesome. All right, so let's make one more simple one. Just to make sure we emphasize this point, you don't have to be deep into programming from scratch to get into working with all of these sounds. Let's do this. Let's say I want to make a pad and I'm going to play with one of the noises. But let's start with a synth sound. So let's start with, maybe we want to play with the 79. This is a really cool fifth. Maybe we want to make like a cool retro lo-fi grainy. So now we're going to get more into programming here for a bit to show you some of the options of what you can do. If you click Guru Sampler 2, you'll see right here in the interface, right here is sample start. So when I play this sound, it starts really bright. And this filter is kind of sweeping along a little bit. But the sound itself, I made the sound, I know. Well, it's actually more of a patch from the JP8000 that does this. I didn't make the patch, but I made this patch doing that, so I know it's there. I'm going to move the sample start later. I want it somewhere in here, so it's just a little bit of a... Because when you're playing with sounds inside of Unify, what it does at the beginning and what it does at the end are all available to you because of the sample start knob. So if I don't want it to start super bright, I can just move this later. And let's say I want to shape this. Bring our sustain up a bit. Fifths are fun because you just play accidental chords and you just get these far more complex voicings. You sound like 1970s Bill Bruford albums, right? So, we have this. Let's use this option to load layer 1 only, and let's go up to a noise. And if I don't choose the right noise, it's easy to change. Let's play with a mangle. Let's play with mangle low. And it might be too low, so let's see mangle high. I like that. Now, it's way too loud and all sorts of things, of course. So we need to play with volume. So if you just turn it down a little bit, a lot of the stuff that's like, you really hear the warts and everything, when you turn down lower, it just becomes an element. You don't hear all the, it just becomes like hiss. Right? That's why I love noises, because you can go to all these noises, every one of them is going to give you a different vibe. Let's go to like pink noise versus white noise. Like, right, let's do the Hydra noise. That's cool. I like that noise. So I'm going to bring the filter down. So I want it to be a splash. So I'm going to bring up the envelope. Let's give it just a little bit of a blip. And this is where it's really fun that there's actually 3 different envelopes available for every envelope. So that instead of this shape, here, I'll turn up a little bit louder so you can hear it, because we'll tuck it in a minute. But check this out. We're going to give, I want more of a video game. This has a little bit more natural curve. The 3 curve shapes are exponential, which is really curved. See how it goes down really fast? This lets you use decay to get really cool natural. It's actually decaying more at the top, and then it slows down. There's more resolution at the end. Natural is kind of more of a the whole way. Let's speed this up a little bit to notice it. And then linear is just like the old, this is the old analog synth. They didn't have any additional calculations. It just went down in a straight line. So these typically, when you set to linear, when you get towards the end of it, it just all of a sudden drops off. So it's got, right? And if I slow this up a little bit more, it's great for making splashy things. See how it's a splash? If I use the exponential, and even if I set the decay longer, you just get a lot more of like a brown with the linear shapes. So play with the different shapes of the envelopes for all these. And again, you have one for filter, which is tied to the filter automatically, so that none to a whole bunch. I also have one for volume right here. And I maybe want to maybe bring up a little resonance, so we'll put some color into the filter. And I want this, as you play across the keyboard, you can have the filter change by key tracking. And we have it doing a little bit, but I'm gonna have it do a whole lot more because I want this to be really noticeable. So it becomes more of like a voice in the mix. So I'm gonna bring up key tracking pretty high. That makes it have a certain kind of a vibe character here. And it's a different vibe up here, right? So let's see if I get this into the mix. I want the sustain up a little higher. Cool. Now we need to make it old. And the way to do that, probably the best, is there's a plugin inside of Unify that Jason Chayton allowed me to use. It's inside of, let's go to our little plus right here. And Unify Standard, Distortion, Chow Tape Model. Now, I'm putting this into the purple master level. What this means is that anything up here on these layers, everything eventually goes down to the master output. So whatever you put here, which to start with, I would recommend always going to replace from layer preset, this little bullet right here, when you're starting from scratch. Go to replace layer, go to master, and use one of the 2 optimizers, usually light because it doesn't change the sound quite so much. This gives you the flex EQ, a compressor, and loud max at the output, which just gives it a little bit of saturation and protects it from distorting. Now here's Chow Tape Model that I just added. I'm going to click and drag to put it to the very beginning of the chain because I want it to be turned old before it hits EQ or compressor or the final. Loud max, you always want this at the very, it's the gatekeeper. This just keeps everything from not going over and distorting and sounding bad on your outputs. So, and then you go to these presets and see it's changing everything in the sound. And it can be subtle like this. Just a little extra fuzz and stuff, or it can be pretty radical, what you have it do. I have some gritty. But I want to lose resolution, so on this lost page are different settings. And let's go over here to the filters, turn them on. Maybe cut down a little bit on the low frequency so it's not so full bandwidth. And then I'm gonna go degrade and turn this on. And this gives me noise. Hear how the noise is there all the time? Let's bring it. Then you go to the envelope and you bring this up. Right? Now, what I can do now that I got it really dark is I can use EQ after this to emphasize frequencies that I want to. And this last high shelf is really cool. Just bring up everything from a certain frequency. And I might go back to the patch, go to the filter. And because it's so thick, I might want to add something else to this. So let's go over here to our synths. Maybe one of these Unison patches would be cool. So let's add square. Maybe an octave higher, so let's transpose it up 12. Short decay to just a soft sustain, so it's just there for a minute. And then one last thing to show you that's really cool is Chow Tape Model is one of those effects that has a wet-dry mix. So I can go from this, I can get that high end back just by changing my mix a little bit. So I can find and just for fun, open up Guru Sampler, maybe try different waveforms, like let's try a saw. That sounds better. It mixes a little nicer. Cool. So, yeah, we made it cool. Now, if I want to make it, it's not very responsive, so you could solo the different elements. Now, one way to get velocity brightness back actually is to go back earlier in the sample. Right? Because there's all that there. But instead of just going there and leaving it there all the time, right click on sample start and it opens up our controls so I can use velocity to put the sample back to start earlier by velocity. So now and I can have this be even later, like all the way in. That gives me a lot more places to play. That's really cool. Our noise, do we want any velocity here? Yeah, we could add some noise velocity here. So let's go to this and say even more. And once you start adding velocity, you might want to bring the bass parameter down some to make that more noticeable. So now I got some speaking there, and let's go to our Sawtooth Unison. It's just sitting there, right? So let's say bring you down. Maybe just a little resonance, just a little. Just to make it sing a little more. Get the envelope to be maybe snapping down a little bit. And then add velocity to the sustain. As you can see, you can add these macro controls by right-clicking on almost any knob that has a plus. You can modulate by velocity, which is crazy. I could speed up or slow down the decay. I could do so many things to the sound. So now, I want this brighter sound to have more velocity to the amp, so it's softer when I'm soft. And it's still not enough, so I'm going to bring down this. But I don't want to be there quite so strong when I'm playing soft. I just want to be there as just an element. Cool. Now, maybe I changed my mind and I didn't want to be a fifth patch. It happens. I could go to this layer 1 at any point and go to the samples and change to any other sound. So you can experiment when you're playing with this. You could go, what if I was to use one of these different Unison patches, like one of the new Unisons, and I don't have to be down. And if I wanted to make it a fifth patch, I actually could, just by duplicating this layer and then taking it up 7 semitones. And now I have control over each of those 2 elements. So I could make it softer. Maybe I just went there a little bit. Or I could take it up even higher, like to 19. So I have it just as a little element there. There, I like that a little bit better. But it needs to be older, so let's go back to chow tape now. 100%. It's really old. Anytime I come to a knob like this and I'm like, I don't know where I want to put it, that's probably a knob I should put down here onto the macro knobs so that you can choose, or I can choose later. Maybe I don't need sample start. So if I hold down Option and click the little bullet, that resets a knob so that it's back to whatever was assigned to it is gone. Name is gone. Let's call this age. Because we're going to change the age. And so let's open up this control and hit the ear so that it's listening. And now any plugin that I go to and I change a parameter, it's going to grab. It's pretty cool. So let's go to chow tape model and let's play with the wet dry mix. Move this just once and boom, wet dry mix is there. So now I can go from all the way. Now, it doesn't work the way I want. I want it to be old when it's here, not new. And I want that to be the other way. So open this up, and that's where this control is. This will reverse what the order is. And if you can move this, this is like moving that slider. So you can click and drag this to review. Maybe I don't want it to get that old, that new. So I can click and drag, and the magic with Unify is that when I'm doing anything with the macro knobs and click a node to change it, if I move, I can hear the change. So I can decide by listening where I want it to be. It's something like very few other things do. And it's by me saying this, some days somebody else will start doing that. But I'm going to change the curve a little bit too, so I can get a little bit new. That's still. Now, remember all that EQ I did here? Maybe I'll make it more normal. So my new sounds like that. If I want to be old, I could do that too. Okay, so let's save this and then we'll do something in Rhythmic. So let's go save. I want to save this to the bonus. I'll include all these patches in the bonus. These aren't my patches that I'm making for the full library. So I'm contributing to the bonus library too. So let's see, Synth. Synth. Let's say 1979 Retro Blast. And save as, save. Let's find the age. It's about where we want it. So hold down your Option Alt and click to update it. So you can update it anytime. Hello to you all. Hey, Andy, thank you for sending patches already. Yeah, cool. Yes, you can use factory samples too. So let's go over just the parameters. Let's say init, okay? And let's go Guru Sampler 2 so that I can show you from here. The sample pools you can use are anything inside of the Unified Standard Library. So all of these different categories, each one of these has different sounds inside of it. Like maybe Magic Violin will have a pizzicato, as well as the harmonics. Any of the sounds in the Unified Standard Library and all of these folders can be used. All of these, as well as anything inside of UniSynth. Hi, Athena. My dog came in to say hi. You got to go back to bed. I'll let you out in a little bit. Go to bed. And then anything inside of UniSynth, which doesn't have folders, is just one folder, and then all of the different sounds. So anything in those folders, as well as, let's make a sound. I'm going to make, it's colder this morning, so I turn on the heater. It's warm enough in here. So I want to make a sound just to give you the how you can do this. So I'm going to go to the standard library. Let's find a sound that's kind of a cool complex, like one of the big plucks. Let's say like this. Okay, I want to use this as my sample that I'm going to make. I'm just doing one sample, so it's going to be somewhere probably in this range. Let's say G, actually C, because we can map that automatically with the, well, we can map to any pitch, but let's say, I like the fuzz of this. So if I hit record, let's open this up. It's recording just MIDI in the master layer. So I hit record, play a note. And then I'm also going to play it short. So I might like that better. So I hit stop and I right click. I'm going to open this in my sample editing program, which is going to take over my whole screen. So let me resize it so it's not quite such a, oh wait, what happened here? Come back here. Let's resize this. So now we can see I have these two sounds from. I think I like the short one though, because the short one's just kind of like this. And it's got delays in it too. So I'm going to get rid of this. Let me zoom in to here. And I'm going to zoom in just really quickly here to make sure that I'm exactly where I want it to be. And then I'm going to normalize it. So I use my normalize commands. And I'm going to say treat each channel independently because this program can normalize that way, which is cool. There. So save this. And let's call this Airy Pluck. P-L-U-C-K, Airy Plucky. Airy Plucky, what the heck, okay? So I'm going to copy this, and then we go to Unify Libraries, UniSynth bonus, samples, right? Into the bonus, and then the samples folder. And as I showed you at the beginning, I made a folder called John Samples. This is what you would make inside of this samples folder. So you're down quite a few layers. If we go back like this, you can see samples. There's this that names the library, and then there's the samples folder, and inside of here is where my John Samples is. Paste. So Airy Plucky is here, and I could even put the name that was a C. That's C4. C4. So it's ready to be loaded. So all I have to do is go over here, init, and call up Guru Sampler 2 and hit the import button. And then the important part is here, setting up your target folder. So we want to choose, we want to go all the way back up to the top. So I follow my breadcrumbs. So libraries, into UniSynth bonus, into the samples here. This is where I wanted to save this sound. And so I say open. And the name, this is going to be Pluck, Airy Pluck, P-L-U-C, Plucky. And then I just drag this sample over here and say import. And it's done. So now when I go over here to the bonus library and I go to sounds, here's Airy Plucky. So there's my sample. And let's bring up the release. So I added a sample. Make sure you first put it into the samples folder before you add it so that it shows up. And you have to set the target to be this samples folder just above the samples, the library folder. So again, you would go import, target, you choose, and you go right here to UniSynth so that you see UniSynth Volume 1 bonus as the target and say open. And that tells it that's where it's going to put the SFZ file. And then you drag the sample over and you hit import and boom, it's now there. Let's bring down the filter. And now, the attack's a little snappy. Maybe I'll keep it because I can always change that with my amp envelope. In fact, one thing I often do is set this to be like this and then right click and have the attack come back the other way with velocity. It helps you get another layer of I mean, this little Guru Sampler 2 is a very potent plugin because you have access to modulating anything with anything, which is really, really nice. It's still the basics. Remember, here's the rule for synth programming that a lot of people, if you just keep it this simple, it makes it so much easier. There's 3 things in a synth sound you can change: pitch, brightness, volume. That's it. That's all there is. So you have brightness by a filter, volume from an amp, and then you have pitch by your tuning parameters up here. So like if I wanted to have a pitchy G, so it's a little bit snappy at the beginning. Right click on pitch, go to the utility envelope and bring this up. Decay. I'm changing the pitch. I did some stuff to change the velocity with filters. And I'm changing the amp. And then the LFOs and these envelopes are just there as tools to, like, if there's some parameter that I'm moving that I really like to move it and I like the sound change, but I want it to be done consistently, then you bring in an LFO. And but I like this way it is. It feels just a little bit late when I'm playing down low. So let me do this. Let me save this. Go save. We want to call this pluck, airy, plucky, new. And we save it to the bonus and stuff like that. Save as, save. You can always go back, reveal in the Finder, go up a level, samples, go to the samples folder, to my sample. Oh, look at it, put an airy, plucky right here. So it made its own location. Yeah, so I don't even need this folder because it made this here. So I'm going to double click this really quick. Look in here. It shouldn't. I'm pretty much right on it. Oh, you know what it is? I see there's a, see this area in here and then this. So I'm going to delete this with a 0.05. There. Save. Now when I go back to the Guru sampler and I call up this patch again, there. There's this reflection in the sound that so let's see. I'll get you guys these patches after the live stream. Now, it'd be cool if the samples were kept into their own separate folders, but by using the import tool, you're kind of at the mercy of how it's going to organize it. There's another way to build the samples. Let me show you real quickly. Let's go like this. If you use Sample Mapper, Bjorn Sample Mapper, it's a program. I'll put it into the video description, telling you and showing you where it's at and stuff like that. This is a tool that lets you import samples and map them. Because for my own samples, I at least want them to be really clean and put in the right place. So let's do this. I'm going to say Unify Libraries. Go to UniSynth bonus. And I'm going to put this sample into my John's folder, sample folder. And then put airy plucky in here. Go right here. And then I drag this over here and it pops up and I just automatically say import and it's C, so it maps it across the keyboard. And then I can go save as, and then I need to go to the libraries to, and see, make sure I'm alphabetized and UniSynth bonus. Samples here, and then I'm going to just click airy plucky C4 and save and overwrite it. So this will overwrite it. Now when I call this up, it should be, and it's organized the way I want it to be, at least for my own samples. When you're using that importer, I think there is a way to define definitions. Target folder. Yeah, there's not really a place to say, so it's just going to put the sample, which is fine. Don't worry about that. We can organize it if we need to, or it can just be the sample. I don't know how many of you guys are going to do actual custom samples, so there might not be that many that do. But at least for my own, I want it to be samples and then here, so that they're organized and not running rogue in the samples folder. And sample mapper from Bjorn sample lets me do that. So yeah, we started at about an hour and 7 minutes ago. We'll do another 30 minutes. If any of you have questions, specific questions that you want to know the answer to, pop them up. And I don't mean to just go off and do stuff without making sure I'm helping you guys if some of you guys have questions. Right? So if we wanted to use this, there's some really cool, all sorts of really cool short samples inside of UniSynth that I want to use in some really cool ways. So let's add like maybe Infinity Pluck, and I'm going to use the loading just layer 1 option here. So when I click this, it adds it. You may want to go up an octave. And let's show you, until I see some questions from you guys, I'm going to just keep throwing ideas at you. We're going to go over here. We're going to add a MIDI effect layer. So the MIDI effects, we're going to turn them on by using this command, MIDI effects right here. We can use samples outside of Unify. Yes, you can use your own samples in this library. Absolutely. It was asked in the live stream last week, and so I set up the folder hierarchy. So if we go libraries, where is it at? UniSynth bonus, there's a samples folder. And so what you do is the samples go into the samples folder with your name, like, you know, Diddy's samples folder, whatever you want to use for your name. And then you put your samples in there. Just make sure they're clean samples, that they're not samples from some company that will be mad that we're working with them. The samples you've made, like I made that sound inside of Unify using the recorder, stuff like that. Yes, for multi-samples, you'd be using sample mapper or text edits, because if you double click on these files, you'll see that it opens up just a simple text editor. Like this is a single sample, so that's all that needs to be the information, but here is a multi-sample of a whole bunch of samples. So then it's all these samples and the parameters for it. And if you use Bjorn Sample Mapper right here, if I drag the SFC file over, let's see, close. If I drag Harry Cordell over here, boom, it will map it out so I can see everything that was used to make that sample map, right? So in fact, let's add that as well. So let's go here back to the bonus library and add, where are you at? Harry Cordell samples. And we need to do a couple things. We want to take it up an octave. And let's have it be long releases. And I wanted to not be there so much, so I'm going to just bring up the velocity sensitivity of the amp to start. And if that doesn't get it enough, I can bring it down here and then right click on that. This is the volume control of this envelope, like the overall intensity. Now, I'll show you a really cool trick we can do. Say I want to use these LFOs actually have double duty. Let's go to LFO 2. And if we have it set to Hertz, then we have a one-shot mode that shows up, which is awesome. That means this envelope is now this LFO, which normally is repeating. It only plays once, and so it's now an envelope. So if I was to right-click and say LFO 2, give it 100%, and then it's set currently to custom shape, which means whatever shape, I could make this into like complex, you know, weird multi-segment, like it's running through like a noise shape for being modulated. Slow it down. So you can make these envelopes that just defy, you know, it's like a multi-segment envelope out of an LFO, and because it's at the one shot. If I turn off one shot, now it's repeating. And I could like make this like the phase, I want this to be random. So now it's starting at different places all the time. Just to give me a weird, I mean, I hope you guys make some weird sounds because it's so easy to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. I can tell you. Ooh. Cool. Can't wait to hear it, man. Now, I want this to be ran through an arpeggiator, and we actually don't have just a simple arpeggiator built into Unify. We have the blue arp, which can do like random arpeggiated kind of things and stuff like that, but it's still not the same as like just an old-fashioned, just simple arpeggiator. Well, it turns out our lovely friend Paul, the genius that's written the software interface, you know, I kind of guided, he actually worked on this interface and sent it to me, and then we shaped it up, but he wrote all the code. He made Hyperion, right, before this. And Hyperion has a very nice, very flexible arpeggiator built into it. And it just turns out that we have a really cool ability. I'm going to use a MIDI effect because I want to control all of these layers, but if I wanted, I could make it just be, we originally had only a MIDI effect as a master effect above all the others. And then after, I think it was like maybe 6 months after we released Unify 1, we added this ability to add a MIDI effect per layer, right? But this is a case where I want to be global. I want to control everybody. So I'm going to go over here to the bullets, and you go to Unify Standard, and you go to Creative. Where is it at? It's here under Utility, Combo Box. Combo Box is very deceptive. It's a very deceptive plugin because this can be placed anywhere. It can be a MIDI effect. It could be an audio effect. It could even be an instrument layer if you wanted to make, like, if you go to the standard library and you look for like the vocoder patches, I've got multiple things, and you can make super easy complex vocoders inside of Unify that would be like a pain in the butt to do inside of Ableton Live or Logic or something like that. Well, it just so happens that if you added Hyperion, the actual full plugin, which I own, of course, and then you double click, you have the interface here. I'll show you where it is real quick, and then I'll show you how to get easy access to this, because if you go over here to the patches, he doesn't have anything here that says just arpeggio. There's generatives and all sorts of things like this, right? So, well, I've made some presets, and I'll include these presets. I'm not sure how to get them to you guys, but maybe I'll put out all the patches and the samples that came with this video, and I'll include these too because I know how to do it. Under menu, I have made templates using Hyperion both for audio effects and as the arpeggiator. So if I just go over here and I say random 2-octave eighth notes. So what this does is it's a patch that loads up Hyperion like this with the note inputs going into the different things that were needed. And then here's where I have the ARP turned on. I have it set to random, and I have different modes I can choose here. All I have to do is, once I have this, is I need to go to each of these layers to the MIDI input. And here, let's just go Hyperion ARP. So that way when I click the N, you'll see Hyperion ARP at the end of this list. And so by selecting this as the MIDI input, I now have an arpeggiator. And it's playing random. Now, by default, the arpeggiator doesn't respect sustain pedal. If I have the sustain pedal down and I play, it doesn't work. But I believe if I go over here and I add a MIDI filter and sustain pedal, you say anytime you have a plugin, that there's a lot out there that don't do sustain pedal, use the MIDI filter, set it to emulate, which means it's now acting like a sustain pedal. Put this before combo box. So now it will hold down notes when the sustain pedal's down. And when I let up on it, it stops. Cool. Now, I wanted to do more than this. We could start with this as a start. So let's save this. Let's go save to the Unify UniSynth Volume 1 bonus. It's a BPM synth. Simple, 3-layer ARP. Let's just call 3-layer ARP. 3 layers of ARP. And again, I'll give you these patches to start with. So save as, let's see, we want to call it BPM synth. Synth, layered ARP, Hyperion. And I'm not going to add comments because I don't want to take that time to type. So go save. So it's here. So this is how you guys can get access to this. If you want to use this ARP in your own patches, all you have to do is open up Combo Box, go to Menu, go to Save a Template Preset, and save. Give it whatever name you want. I named it. If we go to the list here, I named it Hyper ARP Random 2 Octaves 8th Notes. Because if you double click Hyperion, you have all sorts of options here for range up to 3 octaves, the gate. You have swing. Here is, let's say 4, you want it at 0.500 to be straight up even. Here's your beats, faster times. Okay. Now, for this patch, I'm going to get this to be more complex because I want to show you some cool tricks. So I'm going to have it be really busy like this. And then after Combo Box, I'm going to put one of our creative effects called Trigger Box. And Trigger Box, I use this for making the guitar libraries to have like a set of samples that play on note off. In some libraries, the mod wheel starts drum grooves. It's super powerful for there's all sorts of presets that we've set up for, like, you know, delay the notes on 8th notes, play notes on note off. There's different things you can do. But right here is this freaking knob that I just absolutely love called probability. And this is a filter for filtering out notes. And if I set this to like 25%, that really busy that's going crazy all of a sudden now is. I can bring it down even slower. And if I bring this up, now it's full time going crazy again. So you can find that's kind of fun. And then let's go to some other library. Let's go to, remember, we can play with Super Mega Sampler or the standard library. Let's go Super Mega Sampler. This is all new sources from all the different libraries we've released in the last 5 years for Unify. I added just all sorts of stuff. So let's say that we say, these are all singles for the most part, so just use this setting right here. Let's do like, maybe purity might be kind of cool for this. Just that's kind of fun. Maybe we'll add maybe Sculpture Garden C. Now I have to tie it all together somehow, right? It's kind of like disjointed. Let's see, what can we do? Because this is one of those where it could be a patch that takes hours to make, and I've got 7 minutes. Let's do this. Let's open up Combo Box. Let's, instead of this piece, let's make it just 16ths. Or quarter note, so it's a 16th note timing. And let's open up, now these all have pump houses and stuff here. So let's find a shape for the pump house that works. Let's go like maybe just a pulse. And then I'm going to hold down Control and Shift to copy that setting and paste the sine wave. And let's also paste this also onto some of these pulsing parts. Now I'm hitting above 0, so I hold down Option. Turn this down a little bit. Now maybe for purity, I want to be a little bit busier. So I'm going to double click a couple extra segments. You can get really fun with this stuff. Now, we haven't talked a lot about the metronome. Let's get the metronome involved. It's just a click right now here, right? So again, just right click on the metronome. I like this. It's got this little improvising scatty thing going on, right? So if you go U2 in the search for metronome, this gets you to just the newer patches. Let's add like a busy techno thing. Or you could just do more like a straight techno. I want some of that swing though. I don't want to lose the swing. So let's see. Half-Life Chill, what's that like? Oh, there you go. Now that I got a groove, I might hear that I want to add more to it, right? I kind of hear like something doing like wow, wow. Wow, something cool. So let's go over here to Unisynth. Let's get one of these really big Unison patches. Let's say load up Unify just in the layer 1. I'm just gonna set it up. So we'll go like volume down and 100% to LFO3. So it will be volume controlled by LFO3. And I want the shape to be custom, but I want to be like wow. And actually, I think it's like about right here it's going to hit and then go back down. Let's see how close I am to doing what I wanted. Let's see, so I want to go over here, change my timing to be notes. Let's see what's going on. But I don't want it to drop off quite so fast. Maybe I want to hit on the downbeat. And I want the filter to kind of follow that too. So let's bring down the filter. Let's see, bring down velocity. And let's have the filter cutoff. Let's see, what else can we do here? Again, programming takes time. There's times where you have to like spend now if it's doing that and I have something more steady at the same time, I think I'm gonna have a good thing. So let's go over here. Let's have it do like, let's say Alpha 2. Okay, so we don't want bipolar, we just... All right, so it's doing a little bit too much, so let's bring this down. See what I'm going for? It's just something in there that... Let's have this up a little bit. Oh, this is bipolar. Okay. There we go. That's what the problem was. I didn't want bipolar there. Yeah, that way it sits there a little bit more. There, that's a little bit more what I was thinking about. And I would probably put, let's see here, I have loudness on this, so I can use it too. Now let's go over here and add some. Oh, I want an auxiliary bus for delay, so go plus, auxiliary effects, delay, ping pong 8 is kind of the standard to start with. And then bring up the delay on that synth part. And I can put some of the synth parts now through the delay. kind of cool. Oh, yeah. There's a fix coming in an update. Right now, the step sequencer, it plays all the time. We're hoping to release this update this week, which has a parameter here that makes it so that if the clock is off, it doesn't play. Because right now it plays. I got kick all the time. It's a very cool instrument on its own. Good point, man. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think you can just do MIDI routing. We use MIDI. Oh, Wilf has entered the stream. Okay, cool. All right, so now I would probably change the kick for this version of Unify so that it doesn't play all the time. So I'll probably fix that before releasing this to you guys. I'll be putting out tonight a link to download the updated patches that we've done today. Quick way to have Unify do a quick scan for only a newly installed plugins. Yes, absolutely. Anytime you add a new synth to Unify, just go over here to plugins and under operations, say select plugin files to scan, and then go to like VST3 and just have it show date added, and then you'll see the newest synthesizers you've added, and you could add that many, or you could add just one, and say open, and now it just scans just that one. You can also drag it from the, I don't know if you guys know this, I love showing this off, it's so cool. So if you go to your plugin list, like VST3 and date modified, so like if I took these two here that were new that I didn't have inside of Unify, I could just go like this, drag them over like that. They're added just like that. No restarting. Everybody else makes you restart all that crap. We don't do that. It's immediately available. So yeah, there's all sorts of ways to get new plugins when you install one. Just do that so you don't have to scan everything all over again. Yeah. Now for the kick, let me fix that really quick. We're 5 minutes over. Oh well. Yeah, drag and drop is really fun. So you can just, I'm adding new plugins every day of the week, right? We had to have quick ways to access and add. A lot of people use our plugin to test their plugins because you can track updates. It's very fast for all that kind of stuff. Let's go to this kick, and I'm just going to fix it. It's doing just a simple pattern like that. So let's change this to be arpeggiator MIDI box and go to the standard library and then go to the different MIDI file folders inside of the standard library. And there's one folder in particular called Drums Single Part MIDI Grooves, which has a number of different kick patterns and stuff as well as 4 on the floor. But I have to transpose to find out where. Oh, you know what? This is off, so it's not going to play. Solo. There it is. So go to MIDI box, let's say halftime. That's fine. There's so much more I could show you guys. I mean, it goes for days and days. Let's try different waveforms with this. Let's say, what does it sound like with this new square? even go to like just a simple waveform instead of a unison. I like the unisons. So let's go to like JP tidal wave. No. No, that original unison was really nice. Make it softer. Maybe for the drums, I want to add something a little bit busier to this. Let's go down here to like maybe like the anthrax grooves. So let's say layer 1 only added. Let's do a no kick. And MIDI box to halftime. Nope. Oh, I went to third, halftime. There we go. Let's see, let's get to be a little bit more vibey. Sine wave in here. Which one? So right click lets you cycle through these guys really quickly. Turns off the other layers so you can hear. Yeah, you need to be doing something more sonically. Let's do this. We've got custom shape. Let's see. That's better. I just want it to be out of the way so it's not just a droning buildup. Let's see, let's try some fun stuff. Let's go modulation. Now, we didn't talk about this yet. Maybe we'll talk about this for a minute. These macro knobs, I don't have any of them set up yet, so I might need to set up. Maybe we'll go 2 hours. We'll do 20 more minutes, so it'll be a 2-hour live stream. It's free. I don't mind running my camera and hanging out with you guys. You're fun to hang out with. So I first want to do a knob for this. We'll do this first, and then we'll look at other things we can do. So I want something that can take the ring mod and do this. Just to dance around a little bit in there. So these macro knobs are really cool in that I'm going to first right click on it and turn on the ear. Go to ring mod and move the frequency. Let's set it in the middle and turn on the run button, which makes it now become an LFO driven macro knob. Let's say maybe 4 to 1. If I get a couple of hills and valleys in here, maybe I can. All right, now the range I want to be. Just in there, just train the frequencies around. That's kind of cool. So instead of just being I turn it into more like a rhythmic kind of element. And as long as this light is lit, and we can actually take it a little bit farther if we want. Enable global run stop lets it be tied to this on and off button here. So that if I add other things to do some dancing things to the sound, then I have a master control to turn on and off the automation of all these knobs. So if it's on, and maybe I want something to play with the delays, popping them up a little bit on the ARP patches. That'd be kind of fun. So let's call this sine ring mod. And let's say ARP DDL. And so I'm going to go over here. And now the auxiliary bus, those are not able to be listened to by the ear. So you have to go over here and go plus to the instrument tracks, auxiliary send 1. And now I have added that, and I could say duplicate +1 and duplicate +1 for the 3 layers. So now when I'm playing, they're all listening to this. So let's turn on run. And I don't want to go quite that high, so we'll say right there. And half speed. Or maybe 4. So it just is a. And I would turn on sync so that when I start, it's always at the bottom. Let's bring our depth a little bit so. And I can see that I want maybe something steady in there sometimes. Let's add a pad volume. And I want to add, let's go to like, maybe let's have some fun. Let's go to the standard library to some crazy complex, crazy BPM pad. And it just shows up as one layer in this whole thing. That's what, it still blows my mind how powerful Unify is. There's nothing that touches this. So I was going to say, load the whole patch. And let's say like, why not? Let's try hyper arc and echo, see what that sounds like. So now, not the right vibe. But now I've got this Unify layer, which means I can now go in here and just change to other things. Like let's try stinger. Let's see what it's doing if I solo it. And it's not quite ticking away. Tim made this for the library. I want that louder. That's cool. Yeah, that'll work. Let's solo each thing. So this complex 8-layer patch is just sitting here as one layer. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say, give me access. Now, what I'm going to do, there's these different modes for the knobs. I want it to be so that I find the volume that I want this to be at. Okay, that's the volume I like for the max. So I use this first box because what this says is the far left is at 0. So that means what it's going to do is it's going to give me a macro knob that will be from instrument 7 mix level. The max is the current value of this right here. It's not up at the top. It's right there. So that equals the max. So that way when I control this, the max is what it currently is that it can go to. It doesn't get louder than that. So I can give it a little curvature so it shapes a little bit nicer. Maybe we'll have it be like somewhere in there so it's just kind of tucked in. Cool. All right. So as you can see, you can get quite carried away too. That's cool. So this has gotten far more complex. So let's go save to the bonus. BPM synth. Dream Pulsar. Oh, Dream Pulse, because it's got a. Let's see. Patch names was one of those things that. Star Pulse Pad. What the heck? Creative name. Save as save. So now, what's crazy? Like there's this one sound. Let's go over here to the pitch. Oh, it's, we're gonna go to notes. Cool. Just want to mix up the sound a little bit. Let's kill the drums just so it sounds. Yeah, it's a lot going on. Should be a busy Star Pulse Pad. Anyway, you get the idea. Now, I wanted to end up kind of complex, so I hope I got enough stuff inside there for you to play with. Yeah, snare came out good, man. Now let's see what the snare is doing, because we might like doctor it up. Let's, oh wait, go cancel. That's pretty cool. But we could add some ambience to that. If you want, you can hit mute. Oh, and I don't have any mastering, so check this out. Let's turn that just a little bit. It's gonna sound even better here in a second. Go here, replace layer, master. Watch this. Just adds a little bit more presence. Plus, now I can use the Flex EQ to like find some frequencies to bring out a little bit if I want. Just a couple dB of frequency just to shape it. And these EQ settings and stuff are not affecting the drums, to be clear. You can make it affect the drums if you go right here to the metronome and you set this slider to 100%. Now you're telling the drums, the metronome option, to now be routed into the stereo mix. As you can see, now I can see where my levels are. I use this sometimes to go over here to like adjust total volume. Oh, that's a delay. Yeah, I mean, it's literally one of these things where you have to play with something for hours and hours to get to be where you want to sit, do all kind of stuff. But that's a good start. Needs some work, so I'll do a little bit of work before it goes again. Good, Henry. Thank you, man. All right, so we'll do one more of these programming live streams next Wednesday. But I wanted to get something to give you guys from the beginning. Just if you go init, choose one patch from, like, say, from the full UniSynth library. Let's say we play with whistlers. Then change to this layer add, and then go to other patches and just click around. Go to the Super Mega Sampler library. Let's get past all the BPM stuff to some of the like Plux or so forth. Some of the synths like Polaris. And sort of 6-string. Now you have some elements, and now you go into shaping them to how you want them to be. Like, I wouldn't want that Polaris bell sound that's right here. I want it to be bright for a second, then go away. So I would go to the settings, and I'd take the filter down, and I'd bring up the filter envelope, make it snappy, like that. That alone will make it sound so much. And this guitar, I would probably want to put a high pass filter on it so that it doesn't just have all this low energy there. There's all sorts of ways to shape the sounds. What I love with programming in Unify is each layer you can think of as a complete oscillator. But the power is that this oscillator has its own pool of polyphony, so it's not sharing. Most synthesizers, even Omnisphere, as powerful as it is, it's got only so many voices distributed amongst 4 oscillators. So if you set it to 16 voices of polyphony, that gives you a total of what? Well, there's 4 parts. It'd be 4 notes of polyphony for the 4 parts of a 4 oscillator patch. So this works very differently than that because each layer has its own pool of polyphony to work with. So you don't have those constraints. Plus, you have all the separate envelopes for each layer. You have the effects for each layer. It's a vastly more powerful synthesizer than any synthesizer because your synthesizer that you love can be one layer in a much more complex structure. So it's really nice power. Pretty easy to look at too on the eyes, which is nice. So that's the power, is that it's like component synthesis where each layer of a sound can be far more than just, one. So many synthesizers have, it's like 4 oscillators, no panning control, all summed into one filter, and just that makes that specific synthesizer unique for that sound. But that can be just one layer in something far more complex inside of Unify. So that's where the power is. And these community events, I hope, get you inspired to play with Unify and think outside the box a little bit with what it means to have each layer being different components in a sound. It opens up all sorts of options and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but you can make patches in Unify 1. they can be added to the library and we can play them. Sadly, you won't be able to play anybody's patches if you don't have Unify 2, because all these patches that are saved in the bonus library, these are all in Unify 2 format, and Unify 1 doesn't know what to do with it because, Unify 1, God bless it, it was a wonderful beginning, but it's a very different environment to work in. It's not anywhere nearly as flexible and so forth. But Unify 2 can load everything you make in Unify 1. So, yeah, Wilf, we can include your patches, but you won't be able to enjoy what people make inside of Unify 2. So, outside the box. Yeah, that's what it's about. Gemini power. We're outside the box. All right, well, thanks for joining us. I hope this is helpful, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. There's so many fun places. And remember this, because I kind of, this thing here, where is it? The Star Pulse pad. It's a little too complex. So, it's cool. I was going to say keep it simple, but that's kind of cool as it is. So, don't listen to me. All right. Thank you for joining. It's really cool. Okay, good. I hope this is I hope this was helpful to you. Just think about each layer and how to make it its strongest that it can be to enforce the concept of the overall patch. The most important thing in programming is to discover what the focus is, so that when somebody else sits down to play it, they aren't lost and required to think in some way that is just, it's good to challenge. That's fun too. But I like having it so that I know what, okay, yeah. Play it a second, you go, oh, I know what to do with this. Okay. All right. So thank you for joining us. And the patches are encrypted. Patches aren't encrypted. No. I won't be encrypting these patches in the bonus library. The patches in the full library are encrypted. So, yeah, there's no solution for Unify 2 patches in libraries to work with Unify 1. We have moved on and require Unify 2 for the new patch libraries. So you'll have to upgrade at some point if you want to join us. Okay. So I'm sorry that's the case. That's pretty old hardware, but I understand that happens. When you're able to get there, join us. All right. Well, thank you for the live stream. Shout outs to all of you wherever you are. Yes, I'll be sending a link to those patches. I'm going to use some speakers and refine them just a little bit before I let them out. But I will be putting out a library tonight with a link to the video so that you guys have this. And hopefully I tend to jump in deep. I hope I did enough helping of basic how to make early patches, simple patches, before getting to the more complex stuff. So, cool. All right. You're welcome. Good to see you all. Enjoy. Have fun making patches, and we will see you on Saturday. All right.